Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it. You already know. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. The remix. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Right? As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indubitably, we're about to put paint where there ain't. We're about to get right into it in a menudo style and direct fashion. And we're going to talk about my career. Was I ready to end? Was I ready for it to be done? One never knows, does one? Well, I'm going to put it out there right now. You guys are going to know exactly what it entails. My perspective, the way I looked at it from the outside looking in, or maybe even the inside looking out. I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but what I do know is I'm about to put some paint where it ain't. And I'm about to get down and tell you guys the whole rundown of what was going through my mind when it happened, how it happened, why it happened. I don't think it should have happened, but it happened. Okay, and how I go from there. So if you've been following me since I started YouTube a little over a year and a half ago, then you know what's up. You've followed my story. I've told my story on several channels. I've told my story on this channel. And I've let it be known exactly where I stand, in what standings I'm in, how my career ended, and what happened. But I've never talked about how I felt and was I ready. Was I ready to learn, right? Well, I learned all right. And let's just say it happened, whether I was ready or not. So as a young Norteño, striving in Northern California, a Mexicano from up north, I was brought up in the streets and I had a certain mentality, okay? And I didn't do this because it was a generational thing. My mother and father weren't fucking hardcore Norteño gang members, and so it was automatic that I took the crown and I ran with it. None of that, the torch wasn't passed like that. It wasn't like that. I did it because I wanted to do it. I joined the gang because I thought it was cool, because I wanted to be somebody, and specifically because I liked it. There was no other rhyme or reason. It wasn't like someone was telling me, Sasuke, when you grow up, here's a baño. This is how it's going to be, chale. I decided that if for no other reason, man, I liked, what that entailed. I was a true believer in the cause as it was taught to me. I liked the education. I actually liked the struggle. See, there's a lot of people out there, they want to take life smooth. They don't want no bumps in the road, Sasuke. They're like, fuck that, homes. I just want to jump in the 64 and cruise. And hey, we all like to cruise, but sometimes, Vato, you got to hit that fucking dirt road and see what's happening down there. That's just the life. That's the mentality I was brought up with, being from Merced, California, the 209, Central Valle. We're with that. We're with a little bit of struggle. A little struggle ain't never hurt nobody. I've learned that. And when you're really about the raza and you're really about your gente and your people and your cause, your true beliefs, Sasuke, you're willing to do whatever it is to acquire the fucking measures that you need to acquire. Basically, you're willing to do whatever and go beyond to make it happen for your people. My people being the Norteños at that time. And I was looking toward a victory. Victory not over the oppressors and not victory over the opposition, but victory in my own head, right? I was going to let you know when we were victorious, right? Concerning me. So trip out as a youngster, of course I got caught up, got incarcerated, caught a murder on behalf of the gang. And not because the gang made me do it, because I felt, again, like if for no other reason, I should participate because I wanted to be that one. I wanted to have that mentality. I want to be just a little bit harder than others. And what happens with that? Chale Street, nada. You know what I mean? I'm looked at as just another righteous homeboy that did what he had to do out there in the streets. Like I said, the calles don't count. All this gang banging, all this mentality that you have that, oh, Sasuke, I'm going to be the hardest, illest killer that ever walked the earth. Chale, man. It's nada. You get locked up, you're just another number, you're just another one incarcerated. Hey, what are you in for, Holmes? A 187. Oh, is that right? What are you in here for? Still in the car? Hugo, come here. Right? You're like, what? Shit, I don't fuck up. You don't fuck up. Yeah, you absolutely. Anyways, so as my story went, my career was a basic one. Okay, it wasn't extraordinary. Besides the fact that as a youngster, man, I went down south and everyone knows, man, they say, Gunner, you talk about Nellis too much. You talk about why. That's what I remember. Okay, that's what I remember. That's what set me up to be the man that I am today. The YA baby, that hardcore mentality, that I don't give a fuck attitude, that anyone can get it attitude, the Sasuke, I ain't ducking and dodging, man. None of that, right? I'm taking all smoke. This is that mentality, that YA baby mentality. And a lot of people that have it, there's a lot of people that don't understand it quite. What do you mean, YA baby? Sasuke, what, you guys act like a baby? Charlie, man, we play a lot of games and we ain't into playing a lot of games. Do you feel me? When we were young, we went through the struggles that we had to go through. And as we developed and got older, we decided we wasn't going to play no games no more. You feel me? It just was a leg up. It was kind of a heads up, and it was kind of a getting introduced into the prison lifestyle just a little bit more early than everyone else that was on the guys running ragged. Now, Trip, So doing this, I did everything necessary to secure myself, meaning I was a true believer in my people, and I was going to do everything and take every precaution to maintain that active status. Not active like, so I'm active in a function. It was nothing like that. It was just, I was going to do everything to be a striving homeboy, you know, to be embraced for that canalismo, because that's what I lived for every day. I remember one story, and I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I went to Visita, and, you know, I was fully dedicated, long Mongolian, whipping like tongue, post shit. You know, straight norteño, 14 over the eye, huelga birds, y todo ma, you know, your typical gang member from up north, and dedicated. See, but my dedication was a little bit more different than a lot of different individuals. That's all I cared about. That's all I talked about. That's all I wanted in my life. And I remember my jefita, we're out visiting, and she brought me some food, and I'm eating and drinking a soda, and I'm all happy. So I said, this is the best damn thing I ate in about a year and a half, eh? Right? And I'm getting down with it. And she starts to talk to me on the serio. She starts to ask me questions and inquire into why I got involved in being a gang member. Now, up until this point, she had never asked me nada because she didn't want to know about it. So that's because she was, what do you call it? Just not caring, okay? A little concerned, of course, at most times, but disappointed was the word. She was pretty disappointed in me. But today, she felt that today she had time, blood, right? Today, she wanted to talk to me and see what was really going through my mentality and why I kept being in the oil every time she would come to visit me. Why every time I got letters, they would get sent back because I would write gang-related writings. They thought we were having some type of communication in code. Just a lot of things that, you know, a mother that's doing time with her kid. Yes, your mothers do time with you. Your fathers do time with you. Your familia does time. You don't think about that, though, Bob, also when you're out there fucking grabbing a girl's butt, pinching her, and doing drive-bys, right? Anyways, they do time with you. Your family definitely does time with you. So we're getting down. We're sitting there. We're talking every single night. She says, do you love the Norte more than you love me? That's the question. And I looked her dead in the eye and I said, Mom, do you really want me to answer that question? Because at that exact moment, that's how clouded my mind was. That's how unintelligent I was with my answers. That I truly was dedicated to the cause more than I was my own family. And that is what is asked of you. If you're going to be part of a gang, you're going to live in that fucking culture, you're going to be out there wiggling in the streets, there's repercussions for every action. Nothing's for free in this world, Bob. So get it straight. So that's where you go, antennas, when it says right there in black and whiting, you will dedicate yourself to the cause more than even your own familia. Now trip out. Vatos are like, fuck that. I like my old lady too much to be doing all that. Well, if it ain't for you, man, then get on down the road, Billy Jack Haynes, because I'm telling you right now, in real life, you are guaranteed to be bound and go through a lot of struggle, whether if you're from up north or down south. Everybody has their turmoil. Everyone has their toiling in that soil. Everyone has their struggle. And my struggle of that day was having to tell my own mother in her own máscara in her eyes, that's again when she asked me, that I loved the Norte at that point more than her. Now deep down inside, I was like, I'll always love my mama, she's my favorite girl, dear mama, orderly pot. But that's what that's what I truly believed at that point. And I looked at the disappointment in her eyes, and she was like, Puta, tell your homeboys to bring you fucking food. Tell them to send you cantina. Tell your homeboys to accept your phone call every Friday. I was like, Mom, pero see, what happens is the way my bank account works is you put the left to the right. You know what I mean? To the left. She was like, nah, I ain't trying to hear all that shit. Stop trying to be funny. I know where we stand. I love you. You're my son. I'm never going to give up on you. But at the same time, you've given up on yourself. For people that don't even got love for you, you'll see one day, puto. Oh, yes. You're going to see, right? I did see. But not in that fashion. I still look good in the hood. So, Trip, I grew up. And of course, that conversation we had went in one ear and out the other with a little bit of earwax attached to it, and that was that. And I forgot all about it until recently. So I kept on pushing. I stood motivated in my struggle, my strive. I was a true striver. Now, the difference between a striver and a person that's stagnant is someone that's stagnant is just content with where they're at. They're just going to post up right there like, fuck it, ese. You know what I mean? Aquí no más. Thumbtack status. I'm right here to the chair like I am now, right? But people that are striving are continuing to push forward in the cause. They're continuing to elevate themselves. They're continuing to make it happen. And this is exactly where I was at in that point in my life. You know, I was young, I was dumb, but I was full of cum, right? And I was ready to disperse it everywhere. So I kept it pushing. Now, I was a true believer in the fact that I thought I was doing everything right. I done smacked someone on behalf of the gente. You know, I done educated all the homeboys. I remember one time, and the homeboy just brought it up to me the other day. He asked me about it. He DM'd me. He was like, hey, in 96, when you got out, did you go to this party on Loughborough, which was at this time was the rival neighborhood on the north side of Merced, us dead end being from the west side? Did you walk in there? Because I was at that party, bro, and I remember, I think it was you that just walked in around a whole bunch of enemies and told them, man, that they had the fucking game fucked up. It was all about the Norte and not fighting, inner fighting. I said, that was me. He said, you was a crazy motherfucker to do all that, right? And I said, I know. But you got to understand, I was a true believer. And when you're a true believer, you're willing to take those chances. You're willing to put yourself in predicaments that not necessarily you would have in the past. So I remember I pulled up to that party like clean in the color Supreme on gold ones, right? And walked right in, and it was a Vato named Giggler's Pad. For those of you that don't know that are from Loughborough, your OG homeboy, right? I knew him from way back. Ask him about, ask about me, homie, ask about me, right? So I came up in that motherfucker, and I remember knocking on the door. His old lady answered, Erica at the time. She let me in. So I was gay, and everyone, it was all eyes on me. They were looking at me like they wanted to rip my heart out. So that's gay. I was about to be sacrificed on faces of death. But I didn't give a fuck, because I was gay, watch out. That's how much I love the North. That's how much it meant to me that I was willing to bring these gente together, because I knew what was right, and what we were doing was wrong. So I remember walking in there and giving them a little knowledge that they couldn't get in college. Basically giving them some flecha. And I told them, man, it's all about Norte. It's not about Loughborough. It's not about dead end. It's not about the east side, the north side, the west side. It's about none of that, homes. It's about continuing as a northern raza, as a gente, to struggle and set the foundations and implement security for our people. It's all about us, and our opposition being the Vatos from the south. Yes, I was pushing that narrative. I can't lie. I'd be a liar, and then I'd be dying if I was lying. I said we need to, go against our oppressors, who we felt at the time that was the knowledge and the education that was fed to me, that we were oppressed by these people and we needed to fight back. We were the minority and we needed to come together. We needed every motherfucker spoke in that Dayton. You feel me? That's gay. Bang, bang. And I was the knockoff, and I was about to knock motherfuckers off if they acted stupid. And I remember that particular day, people weren't hearing it. They weren't trying to hear it. They were like, Charlie, there's been too much bloodshed. You Vatos are from the other side. You're different. You guys are all cokehead, this and that. Whoop-de-whoop, bada-bada, que la chingada. And I said, Charlie, some no mames way. Watcha. We're all the same. See this color I wear? Red. What do you guys wear? You guys used to wear blue, pero what do you guys wear? We wear red. Bang, bang. There it is, right? So we got it together. At the end of the day, maybe a couple people adhered to that. Maybe a couple didn't. I didn't give a fuck. I did it pushing. I did what I thought I had to do, which was necessary for the cause, was go out there and voice and fellowship to my fellow Norteños. Did that. That's a fact. In hostile territory by myself. Again, another notch in the pinche belt, right? The Gucci belt. So I felt throughout my career, I think I was doing everything that was asked of me, or everything that I felt I had to do. Every time I seen a Norteño from a different city, there was embracement there. There was canalismo. I showed nothing but respect. I looked up for the homeboys. I sent money back. I wrote people that were incarcerated. It wasn't an everyday thing, man, but I did what I could do the best I could. I was doing everything that a Norteño's career entails. Okay, up until the point that I got to Susanville, and then it went haywire. And Sasuke, you guys know that story. If you don't, bang, bang. Red on red occurred. And Sasuke, I was on the outside looking in. I was in the oil like that. My career was done, okay? Now, the question that I posed right there on my thumbnail, is the main question, is the question I wanted to speak on. Because a lot of people have asked me, were you ready? Were you ready for your career to end? I will tell you this. The answer is chale, which means no. I wasn't ready yet. I still was a firm believer in the cause. I still am to this day. Only it's different now. So things are different. Things have changed. I've grown older, and I see it for what it is now. And I'm not going to say nothing negative on the cause or nothing negative on the Norte. That would be a fucking a traitorous move to say that, and that would be an utter lie, But what I do believe in is the fact that everyone has to learn for themselves. Everyone has to make them decisions for themselves. Everyone's either a man or a woman, and you run by your own ways of thinking and your own merit. That's how you live by. Not everyone's the same, but everyone's the same. Read between the lines. We're all brown. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? For the most part. But was I ready? No. At that particular time, I was intrigued by the fact what was going on over there on the other side. What was this everyone was talking about? We were constantly slammed down. We were constantly in the oil. It seemed like the struggle was getting even more realer. We had a lot of people defecting, a lot of people dropping out at that time. Our numbers were coming up short, which meant the struggle just meant all that much more. But of course, being a Norteño and going through so much of this for so many years, it was commonplace. It was normal for me. You know, it wasn't like, oh shit, I'm going to wake up, there's going to be 100 homeboys on the yard. I knew there was going to be about 20 or 30 of us. If there was more than 50, Sasuke, ding, dong, the world's just changed, the world's just changed. You know, it was different. It was a wonderful world. But for the most part, we were always up shit creek with no paddle. I said that before. We didn't know where the fuck we were going. We ended up on Gilligan's Island and made it happen. You know what I mean? The skipper to the millionaire on his wife. Orale. His wife was getting... You already know Gilligan was getting that in. But Trip, the skipper too. I would have went for Marianne, but I'm just saying though. Or the movie star. But I think the professor was taxing that. Anyways, we're getting off subject. I'm over here on Gilligan's Island, Sasuke. Back to the fucking Norte. So... was I ready, Charlie? But I started to look at different things that were going on around me. And I started to wonder why. Why did it seem like the element of the Norte was changing? Why did it seem like this cause that I struggled and sacrificed so much for, sangre, other people's headpieces, my headpiece, everything was all of a sudden changing, right? Drastically and quite quickly. It tripped me out. It definitely tripped me out. And I remember I was sitting there in Susaville. And I'm looking. I'm in there with my celly Bestia, the homeboy fucking from Sakura. And we had just got done doing Machina, man. And he was getting ready to secure his bundle. And we were doing the typical Norteño things. Our mattresses were rolled. We had cleaned the cell. We had both bird bath. He was securing his bundle. I was on some trucha shit. Or I think he had just got done securing his bundle. He was getting ready for me to do mine. And I'm looking out the back window. You get a long back window in the back. And where the building we were at, we were pointed directly to the cage on the left-hand side of the oil. So you can see the back of the administrative segregation building. So I could see whoever was programming on the yarda. And I remember seeing like 30 homeboys out there. Norteños, you could tell. I see, well, got birds on their neck, Mongolians, y todo, you know what I mean? At this time, of course, you're not supposed to have Mongolians, but there was vatos with patches. And I didn't even see it for what it was, that these vatos were degenerates. But I remember looking through the window and I'm watching, I'm like, look, the homeboys are out there fucking functioning. They were out there doing burpees, machina, you know, doing their thing. And the homeboy looks, he says, those aren't the homeboys. Those are the NGNs, meaning no good Norteños. Those fools ain't good. That's trash, right? And I'm like, damn. Hey, I remember that homeboy. He was on building 1. That's the homeboy. Hey, Pepe, right? He was like, nah, Charlie Holmes. We don't, you know. And I already knew what to get down. So I'm just saying. So I'm looking like, damn, that's fucked up. They're deep out there, right? And then I remember seeing 3 vatos in the cold. It was snowing at this time. Out there getting the machina. He goes, them are the homeboys, right? I was like, dum, dum, dum. The struggle was real. The struggle was way real. Houston, we have a Norteño problem, right? Meaning we don't got no numbers. It seemed like everybody was defecting at that time. And I didn't know the reasoning behind it. But it intrigued me to find out. So I started to inquire and ask questions just like anyone else would. And of course, everything was swept under the rug and I was quickly shut down. These are some questions we just don't ask, you know? And of course, you got to the point where you weren't even voicing your opinion. So I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't think about not rolling it up, not fucking defecting, none of that. But I always thought, why? What was the reasoning behind it? You know, it tripped me out. Anyway, so when my career was ended, you know, when I made that fateful day, when I made that choice to go out there on the yarda and get off for where I stood at, you got to understand that my career was already done prior to that. You know, I always say it was due to red on red, and that's what I truly believe in. But they were going to hit me anyways in my cell prior to that because the way they were looking at it was I denied to do a removal. But really, that wasn't the reason behind it. The reason was I was opening my mouth too much and I was asking too many questions. I wanted to know why people were indulging in hard drugs. And that's just a fucking fact, period, plain and simple. And they wanted to get me out the way. And there was a degenerate ass fucking fake C in the back. Evil from Castroville, who had already defected and was on walk alone, who was implementing this fucking, you know, these directives. So the directives were already fucking in question. And later on, he would be discovered. And of course, you know, he would be weeded out. But it was too late. So I was already in my fucking administrative segregated cell like this. Sad at the world. So was I, was it over for me? Was my career over? Did I make that decision wholeheartedly? Charlie, man. I could say that I still was dedicated. I still wanted, not necessarily to be active, but I still loved the canalismo. It's still to this day, sometimes I miss that love, that homeboy love. But I know that I'm a grown man and I have responsibilities and I'm in the place where I need to be. I'm in the place where I have to be. Okay, I know that what that entails, you know, having to look over my shoulder. I know Sasuke, I have to be on point at all time. I know I have to be 10 toes down in the soil and ready to handle my business at any fucking particular point in time. But Sasuke, my antennas are on alert. See, I'm not a cucaracha like that, but I'm a cucaracha like that. You know what I mean? I like to do the cucaracha every once in a while. Anyways, with that being said, you know, was I ready for my career to end? Charlie, man, what do I do with it now? I motivate the youth. I'm into YA reform. I'm into youth counseling. I'm into going back and giving back whatever I can. I'm into being the voice for the gente when the gente don't have that voice. I'm for the people, by the people, but at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not doing it in a positive manner or a negative manner. I'm doing it in a motherfucking real manner. With that being said, there's the answer to your question. Chale, I wasn't ready, but it is what it is, and I'm going to continue where I'm at now. Bang, bang. Do I got love for Merced? Do I got love for all the Central Valle? Do I got love for all the Norteños? Simon, but I also got love for the Sureños and the Perros on my bulldogs, right? It's love for everyone. I got love for my brown people and all human beings. That's just the way I'm going to continue to rock because that's how I've been rocking. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the pinche day, the vatos are just doing their pinche job. Leave them alone, man. Let everyone do their thing, and you do you and yours. There's a little notification bell. If you pet that, touch that, lick that, hit that, stick that, do whatever you got to do, man. You can get notified of all the new material that I got coming. Please hit that like and subscribe. If you don't like me, you think I'm a degenerate, you think I'm a puto, you think I'm a motherfucking J-cat, hit that thumbs down, man. Heavy as the head that wears the crown, and go watch someone else that's going like this. Don't matter to me, man. We're going to continue to struggle right here. Gutters Collective style. Menudo. Bang, bang.